So this week we're talking about Maria Montessori and the Montessori method. While some people describe the disabled students that Maria Montessori worked with as idiots, she knew that if given a fair chance with the proper learning environment, that they could achieve the same thing that normally developing students could. And they did. They were able to learn enough to pass tests on the same level as the normally developing children did. And she was also able to help them gain essential life skills such as washing and dressing themselves and brushing their hair. Her observation of these disabled students changed her ideas about the education of young children because she realized that simply by changing the environment, by giving the kids the right materials, and by allowing them the freedom to work independently, by selecting the materials on their own that they wanted from the materials that she provided, she realized that they could succeed academically. There are many benefits to the Montessori method. One thing that I really like is that each child is given an individualized plan for their education. Not everyone in the room is going to be doing the same thing at the same time. And I really like that kids are not rushed to learn something that they're not ready to learn yet. I also like that children are given the freedom to work on what interests them until they're done and ready to move on to the next subject. All of this is proven to work. For example, Montessori kids usually read and write before children in regular public schools do. The only downside I could see to the Montessori method is that while kids do learn a lot through play, they don't really get a lot of free play time in Montessori schools. The toys that are provided have specific purposes and kids are supposed to use them the way that they are meant to be used. So while I think that this is okay some of the time, I still think that kids need a little bit of free play time each day where they can be creative about how they use the toys and use them for different purposes if they want to. So while observing children using the sensory materials that she designed, Maria Montessori learned that while kids incessantly flip from one activity to another, with the sensory materials that she provided, they tended to concentrate a little bit more and get absorbed for longer periods of time with what they were doing. And so once they realized that kids tend to be intrigued by sensory materials, it changed the way that Montessori teachers taught reading. Since Montessori observed that writing usually precedes reading, Montessori schools teach writing first. They use what's called sandpaper letters, which are letters cut out of sandpaper that can be traced with the kids' fingers. And this provides the kids the sensory experience that they crave, and it also helps them know that when their finger has left the sandpaper, they're writing the letter the wrong way. So as they're tracing the letters, they're also making the sound that the letter makes as opposed to saying the letter itself. And this is how kids in Montessori schools, I think, learn to read faster than those in public schools or schools with other curriculums. And I have seen examples of sensory learning in my observations. For example, last semester when I was observing at a kindergarten class, the teacher had the students practice writing their sight words at their desk out of clay. And this activity had the kids very engaged. They seemed to have a lot of fun with that. And I do believe that this sustained their attention longer than when they had to write the same exact words on a regular paper.